with another client tutorial. So here I am basically lining her eyebrows. I'm using the Benefit eyebrow pencil in the shade number 5. And honestly, I ended up really using the NYX pencil, or the NYX Espresso pencil, just to line and fill her eyebrow. Okay, this is where I start to conceal the eyebrow to basically shape it up. I'm using the Born This Way concealer in the shade Cocoa, which is basically her skin color. And then you'll see me do the tail of the eyebrow with another shade, which is the Sephora Best Skin Ever in the shade 35N, just to kind of give it a little bit of a highlight underneath the eyebrow. I only shape the tail ends of the eyebrow if I do anything to the top shade, and that's what I'm doing in the Too Faced in the shade Cocoa. I'm just buffing out the concealer down to her eyelid just so I can have a base for her eyeshadow. And I'm just using the Airspun powder just to set the concealer in the eyebrow so it doesn't look so wet. Here I am using the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. I'm basically using a transition brown color that you'll see me start off with. And then you'll see me go over the top just to kind of shade it out a little bit with the orange color. Okay, this is the section that you see me kind of just shading out the outer part of the eye color with the orange color, just to kind of give it like a sunset color. Now I am just using the NYX glitter primer just to kind of get something for my glitter color to attach to. I try not to do a cut crease look. I wasn't trying to be, very sharp with my color or with the NYX, but I'm just basically patting that gold orangish color shade shimmer in the eyelid space on top of that primer. Again, and I'm just patting that glitter shade on top of that primer just so that it sticks to it really good. Alright, I went back to that first brown color that I used to use it as a transition color, and I just basically blended out that orange color, the glitter color, so it blends in together and it's not like a harsh color in between. I'm just cleansing the face with the Neutrogena makeup remover wipe, and here I am. I'm just basically moisturizing the face with that e.l.f. Skin Holy Hydration Moisturizer. So I used 2 different foundations on her. I used the NARS color, which is that first color, and I did that in Manius. And then here I am going in with a darker shade, and then this is the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade number 375. I mixed the two just so that I can, look, more of her color complexion. And here I am, I'm just basically blending out the foundation in her face with the Beauty Blender. Alright, so I am concealing and highlighting the face. I do the chin, under the nose, under the eyes, the nose, and the forehead. And I'm using the Tarte concealer in the shade Deep. All right, just setting that concealer with that Morphe setting spray. And now I'm just basically blending in the concealer. I always start around the edges first. And I'm using a brush just so that, you know, the concealer is more prominent with the brush versus a blender, because that kind of pulls away that concealer more. It gives it more of a full face look. Like I said, I start off with chin, under the nose, and then I do the edges underneath the eye first, and then I go to the nose and the forehead, and then you'll see me blend underneath the eyes very last. And I always have my clients look up. I tell them to look up at the ceiling while I'm blending underneath the eye, just to help, you know, avoid any creasing with the concealers. And I try to have them stay that way until I set it with some powder. And I don't move the concealer. I keep the concealer at the same place. I'm just basically blending it out and pushing it into her skin. Okay, I'm using the One Size Cream Cheek Clapper Blush Trio, and this is in the shade Firestarter. And this is just the cream part. This one has 3 different shades, or not shades, but 3 different parts: the glitter, the cream, and the powder. And that was just only the cream. Now I'm just basically setting underneath her eye. I like to set with a pressed powder first. And then this is the shade Fenty and the number 400. I'm just setting that powder, or not powder, but setting the concealer. And I mixed 2 different colors for her setting powder. I used the One Size setting powder in dark deep, and I mixed it with the transition just to kind of give it a brighter color. And then I go into the underneath, or the chin, under the nose, the nose bridge. That's the only time I bake, is on top of the nose. And then you'll see me go back under the eye just to basically highlight the eye with this powder. As you see, it's a bright color with the powder, but it ended up melting into her face. So don't worry, I'm gonna press it into the skin. Just gotta keep pressing until it blends into the face. Here I am just baking that powder on the bridge of the nose. That's the only place I really like to bake. Again, sometimes I do under the eyes when I'm trying to be extra. I did a little bit of baking under her eyes, just a little, just so they can highlight underneath. Okay, so I am contouring the nose. I'm using the Morphe palette in 8D, the Deep Glam palette. And I'm using this shade just to basically, let me see what shade this is. This is the bronzer in this palette. And I'm just going from the, all the way from the eyebrow, all the way down to the nose. I just want to kind of snatch that nose. So I don't try to go too harsh, and then I eventually go over it with some powder just to kind of blend it out and not make it look so harsh. I am contouring the cheekbones with the same palette, that Morphe 8 Deep, but I'm using the darker shade for her cheeks and her nose. So I kind of go back between the contour and the bronzer shade. I just mix the two just to basically bring some structure and color back into her face. Do you see the nose, baby? The cheekbones is looking beautiful. She looks like a model. I also like to go underneath the jaw just to snatch up that jawline. So I just put a little bit underneath the jaws. So I like to chisel up the cheekbones, and I'm using that One Size Dark Deep powder, and I'm just going from the earlobe down to the mouth. And I never keep it on for a long time. As soon as I apply it, I'm usually following up with the foundation powder just to blend it out. I'm using on her the MAC Studio Pressed Foundation Powder in the shade NW50. I bounce between that and the Maybelline Fit Me Pressed Powder in the number 375. I use both of the colors. I mix them both just to, again, get the right shade of her skin color. And I'm just basically removing the harsh lines that I applied with the setting powder. So I have nothing on my brush right now, and I'm just basically pushing in that setting powder into her skin. Once I push it in, then I go into that pressed powder, the Fenty again, shade number 400, just so that she doesn't have any flashback. Now I'm back to the One Size Blush Trio, and this time I'm using the powder in Firestarter. I'm using the powder version. This is beautiful orange color, just to set that cream powder blush that we applied earlier. So now I am lining the lips with the Morphe in shade Trendsetter, sorry. And then I apply the Shayla lip color from Dose of Color in the shade Final Touch. And then I top it off with the NARS lip gloss in Orgasm. I like to overline the lips, but I didn't want to do too much with her because she has some really good full lips. So I just did enough where it looked good, but I didn't overkill it. All right, now I'm just lining her under eye with the Inklock gel in the shade Black. Now I went back to that palette, the color palette, the Pat McGrath palette, and I'm just mixing that brown, that transition brown, and that orange color together, and I'm just underlining her eye. I'm just applying some really pretty cat eye false lashes, strip lashes, and I use the dual glue to glue the eyelashes on. I'm just using the Essence mascara just to blend the false lashes with her lashes. And here I am, of course, using the Rare Beauty in shade Flaunt, and I'm using the bunt of the blender just to highlight the cheekbones, and I also do the tip of the nose and the nose bridge as well. So I used the One Size Until Dawn setting spray, but I didn't show it in the video. And then I topped it off with the Urban Decay All Nighter spray. And then I just went in with that same Pat McGrath eye palette, and I used this pretty gold shimmer shade, and I used it for her inner eye just to give it a nice pop in her eyes. And this is the final look, looking straight like a model. If you watched this full video, please put a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.